Come on! So today I'm here to discuss a pretty serious issue with the AirPods Max. I did mention it in my review, but I wanted to do a dedicated video on it because I've had these since December and it seems like the issue has gotten worse, or at least stayed the same. It hasn't gotten any better, and that is the battery drain issue. And the reason I'm doing a whole video on this is because it doesn't seem like mainstream media is covering it anymore. Like the last article, or a set of articles I saw on it, were back at the end of January about the battery drain issue. So if you're not familiar with it, or familiar with the issue I'm talking about, is where the battery drains in the case like super quick. Like I'm talking about overnight being at 100% and then waking up and being at 0%. So this has been a persistent issue for me, and apparently a lot of other people. I looked at a couple of forums like the Mac Rumors forum, and this has been like an ongoing thread since December, so I'm not the only person that's suffering from this. And there just hasn't been much attention on it, and Apple hasn't put out anything official, so I kind of want to do a video on it today just to bring awareness to the issue, because people might be experiencing this issue, and you know, Apple's kind of left people out to dry. At least that's the way that I kind of feel about it. So I've been suffering from this issue, and I had an issue with my 2018 MacBook Pro, and I saw other people having similar issues, like basically with kernel panic all the time. I had another issue where the battery swelled up and almost exploded, and I had to have it replaced. And after I got it back, it was still having the same issue with kernel panic, and I already had it past its warranty period, so I was pretty much SOL. So I didn't want to end up in the same situation again, so I really wanted to get this issue taken care of while these are still under warranty. So based on the articles I saw, it's kind of a known issue. They think it might be caused by people having a lot of different Apple devices, like an Apple TV or a MacBook, or pairing them to a non-Apple device. Now, of course, I do have two Apple TVs. I have an iPad Pro, I have a MacBook Air, I have this Apple Watch, and of course I have an iPhone. So I would fall in that category as someone that has several devices. And I mentioned in my review, I thought it was caused by my MacBook Air because it does constantly come on throughout the day and put out notifications, but I actually disabled Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on the MacBook Air, and I still had the same issue with the battery drain, so it wasn't isolated to that one device. So this just seems to kind of be an issue if you have multiple devices. At least that's what the speculation is. And I checked Apple's website, and there's really nothing about it aside from like some general troubleshooting tips. And the main thing is to do a factory reset. You can also just turn off the ability for it to switch between multiple devices. Those are the main two things that I saw as far as fixing the issue, or not really fixing it, because fixing it would be like, it working the way that it's supposed to and allowing you to switch to multiple devices. But I was looking at the Mac Rumors forum, and the one thing that I saw that stuck out was that someone contacted Apple support. This was actually on Friday. I'm recording this video on Monday, so it was 3 days ago. They contacted Apple support, and the rep told them that it was a known issue, that basically there's nothing they can do and look out for a firmware update. My thing is, if they're being told internally that this is a known issue, then I think that they should let customers know about it. But at the same time, I worked in tech support for 6 years. Sometimes people will say things is a known issue or think it's a known issue when it's not, or they'll think that a similar issue that you're having is the same issue. So I wasn't apt to believe it myself. So I went ahead and did a tech support chat myself with the representative. And the reason that this is important, even if you think that it's the same issue, is just to make sure, like, you want to go through the troubleshooting with the tech support agent. If it is a known issue, make sure you get a case number. In my case, with the chat, I downloaded a transcript just in case something happens, like you continue to have this issue and then your product goes out of warranty. You do want to have these things available to be like, hey, I contacted you while this was still in warranty. Here's the transcript, here's the case number. This issue never got resolved. So I did make sure to grab those things. And I went through the chat. The lady was very nice. I gave her my information, the serial number, the data purchase. I'd let her know what the issue was. I let her know that I factory reset it. And basically, she said, it's a known issue. The same thing that the other guy was told on the Mac Rumors forum. Like, it's a known issue, check for firmware updates, which I am on the latest firmware. I checked that before I even started the chat. So ultimately, I'm going to wait it out and see if a firmware does come out to fix it. But I'm giving it a month, and I'm going to contact them back. Because ultimately, if not everybody is experiencing this issue, I am apt to believe that it could be some kind of hardware thing. And if it's a hardware thing, I'd rather than replace the headphones while they're in warranty, rather than wait and think that this issue is going to get fixed and it never gets fixed. So I've learned my lesson. I've been burned before. So my recommendation is, if you are experiencing this issue, and if you find this video and me saying that, you know, I talked to Apple, I saw somebody else talk to Apple, so no issue, still contact their chat. Another reason that that's important is if enough people contact the chat and let them know what's going on, then they might put something out officially saying like, hey, this is a known issue, you know, we're working on it. Like, it bothers me that there's nothing out that's official, especially on headphones that are $550. These are not cheap headphones. And to have this issue, you know, right off the bat, and it's kind of a big deal because let's say if you're going on a trip and you charge the headphones and you wake up the next morning they're dead, that's really gonna put a damper on your plans. Like, you gotta find some way to charge these headphones before you leave. So yeah, it's not a great situation. Like in my review, like that's why I put in the title, they're still in beta, and I mentioned all the quirks of the headphones. This was a major one about the battery drain. So I would recommend not even buying them right now until this issue is resolved. I am going to do a follow-up video because one way or another, this issue is going to get resolved, or I'm going to get my money back. Like, I'm not going to spend this much money on some headphones to have them die overnight when I'm putting them in the charging case and, you know, kind of doing everything that I can to help them not die. The way I've been dealing with it is I just have it set up. Like, I have a hanger that I hang them on, and I have a lightning cable that's right beside it. So I just plug them in. Like, I've just been plugging them in every time. And then, like, if I don't plug them in even for one day, I have the battery drain issue. They're just dead the next time I go to use them. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, there are a couple things that you can try. Like I said, you can go in the settings and turn off the automatic switching. If you just want to use it like with your iPhone or with one device, you can do that. And you can also do the factory reset. All you do is just hold both of these buttons for about 15 seconds. There's only two buttons up here, which is the crown and then the noise cancellation button. If you hold those for 15 seconds, the light at the bottom here will flash orange four times, and then it'll turn white. And after that, it's pretty much back into the mode that it is when you first get it. When you put it in your phone, it'll ask if you want to connect and set it back up as new headphones. So those are a couple of things that you can try that I've seen that's recommended. There's also an article in the link below that has some other suggestions as well. None of those work for me, but you know, it's worth trying just to see if it'll at least alleviate the issue. For now, I am going to keep an eye out for firmware updates, and I'll let you guys know how the situation turns out. But I did want to give an update and say, like, maybe if you're considering buying these still, to hold off for right now until they get this issue fixed. Well, that's going to bring this video to a conclusion. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, and subscribe, and always do at least 2 things at the same time.